Hello and welcome, this is Rooflemonger, and this video is meant to be a bit of a discussion about the upcoming balance patch, since we do know for a fact the balance patch is coming. So, one thing I guess just to open and preface the video with, we actually know two things about the balance patch. It's not much, but I might as well tell you if you're not already aware. So this is straight from the Japanese developers' mouths, and it's actually from the original stream that the balance patch was announced. So Vegeta's assist will be changed. Now, they don't say in what manner whatsoever the assist will be changed by, but knowing, how that Vegeta assist works is probably going to be a nerf. And also, they said that Frieza will be buffed. They didn't say how, they didn't say how or why, anything about it, but Frieza will be buffed. So those are basically the only two things we officially know ahead of time about the balance patch. Now, that said, once again, it's a bit of a discussion here. I did, about 2 months ago, as of the time it's recording, make a personal wish list of what I would like to see out of the balance patch. At the time we didn't know there was going to be one. But what I would like to see in regards to characters and mechanics and all that stuff. So I'm not going to retread that ground. So I want this just to be an open discussion for. I'm just going to go on about some mechanical stuff I would like to see. And by now it's probably too late, one way or the other. The changes are going to be what they're going to changes are going to be. But, just to walk through just some thought process I have about some system mechanics. Especially stuff I see complained about a lot. And also I'm looking to engender some comments from you guys. So please post in the comments, what you would like to see out of the balance patch. Please no out of left moon crazy stuff, like nerf Teen Gohan and buff adult Gohan. We know, that's not going to happen. So let's keep it a little more realistic. But yeah, so without further ado, first of all, I just want to talk about Reflect real quick. Now on to the Reflect. So this is something I actually mentioned in my original wishlist video all the way back then, a couple months ago. But this is something I really believe in all the more now. So, the idea of the Deflect is simply to create space, right? But then you have certain characters like Lord Cell here, and, I didn't create any space there now, did I? So certain people like Cell, their auto combo chain, the second hit drastically moves them forward, and it kind of just circumvents the whole point of deflecting. Like, what can I do? I can deflect and I can block, but that was no better than me blocking the first time, right? My reward for correctly guessing the attack has basically been thrown into the garbage on a character like Cell. So this is the kind of thing I was thinking about. Like, maybe an idea would be like, on Deflect, all forward momentum is stopped. So if I successfully parry the first hit with the Deflect, then the second hit is not allowed to move forward. Maybe moves forward in place, or maybe the movement forward is cut in half. I don't know a specific thought of it, but situations like this where I correctly guess your attack and deflect it, and then I am, in no better position than I was to begin with after I correctly did a risky move and a deflect. That kind of stuff, it really cripples the usefulness of this kind of move. And, it's very telling that a lot of the better characters, like your Cells, your Goku Blacks and all that, they have such far forward momentum on their second hit that they are the kind of characters that are exactly what's prone to causing these kind of situations. So like someone like Vegeta, which, everyone loves the assist, but Vegeta as a character himself is not amazing. You can deflect him. He's not reaching you from a giant chunk of the screen away with the second hit, right? Same with Beerus, same deal, right? Not hitting you from a long time away with that. So I don't want necessarily to nerf the character's auto attacks, but I think it would be a very fair compromise if you are deflected, then the forward momentum of your second move, or whatever you're doing directly after the deflect, is curtailed a bit, just to avoid exact situations like this, because otherwise, it really ruins the rush of correctly getting your deflect when they're just directly back in your face anyways. Like, you can only really mash deflect to get out of this situation, and it's a bummer that certain characters you have to be like, okay, well, this character I have to deflect twice, versus every other character in the game, I don't have to. And sometimes, like, you gotta really mash that deflect. So sometimes it'll cause you to overmash, which, then you lose all the advantage of gaining the space from your deflect because you just gave it up in a whiffed deflect. So, I don't know. That's the one thing I would like to see. It's not gonna nerf a character like Cell. He still gets to keep it as normal, but if he's deflected, the one deflect should do the trick for everybody, in my opinion. Now, another thing I see a lot of people complain about is the homing dash. And I know a lot of people want it nerfed in some manner, and I think I mildly agree with that. Not a big nerf or something, maybe just a little more pushback on block or something, or the enemy recovers a bit later. Maybe not directly one-to-one punishable, but certain people and a lot of other characters in this game can kind of abuse the quick recovery of a block of a homing dash. So like Goku Blue and Broly and Android 16 are 3 classic examples of this. So say I do the homing dash here, Goku Blue, and immediately I just do his basic Ki Blast. And his basic Ki Blast, he falls to the ground right away. There's no momentum for it, right? So unless you have literally frame perfect timing, his basic Ki Blast is going to either beat you clean or trade your down heavy attempt. And then he can get a full combo afterwards. So this is what I'm talking about, where I think the recovery period should be a bit longer than it is. I think I gotta have like within the first frame to successfully beat him. Like, I'm literally mashing at this point here, and I'm still just trading with him. There you go. See, I'm mashing so hard now I'm doing it preemptively. But you get the idea what I'm trying to talk about, right? And for someone like an Android 16 here. So Android 16 in the corner, right? And I'm an Android 16 main, so I'll be the first one to point this out too, just so you know. Due to the reach of his arms and the fact you recover so quickly after the homing dash if it's blocked, he basically gets free pressure. Like, the pressure does not stop just because you block the homing dash unless you immediately down heavy, like, mash. And of course that has its own set of caveats, because, you know, if he backdashes, he can just do jumping Ki Blast into vanish attack into the mix-up blender. So like, just the fact that you blocked the homing dash against 16 now means you're basically in a mix-up. And God forbid you actually crouch block, because that's an overhead and it'll reach a crouching opponent and he'll get a full combo on you. So this is kind of what I'm talking about when the distance needs to be created. It needs to either be a lot bigger than the distance currently is, or the person who is doing the homing dash, while not, once again, directly punishable, should at least recover a few frames later than they currently do, because there's not as much disincentive to getting your homing dash blocked as you think you could. Because once again here, so we switch over to Android 16, say you have that frame perfect down heavy, whatever. Cool, I backdash, boo-boo, and I get a punish. Like, the homing dash is a very strong tool, and is by design meant to be a very strong tool, absolutely. But that is one of the things I think should be toned down. So the next mechanic I would like to talk about is the vanish mechanic. So the video that was the one I made right before this video is actually one detailing all the defensive options you have against vanish. It is a mechanic I do see complained about a lot online, though not much as homing dash. And I think, honestly, vanish needs just to be the way it is. I think it's perfectly fine as it is. It already costs a bar. Bar is very precious. The offense you get after it is nothing is guaranteed. All it just means is you spent a bar to be a couple frames plus, and that is only if they stood still. There are some block strings you can do to guarantee the vanish, sure, but you still burned a bar just to be basically +2 in front of the enemy's face. And that there's no guarantees on nothing on that. And the mechanic itself, like, just the tracking of vanish itself. So say we set the enemy to jump here, right? The tracking of vanish is not amazing. You'll almost always wind up above the enemy if they are moving at all. And if you are above the enemy, you are always going to be negative too. So this raw act of vanishing does not mean anything if the vanish hits. So say, you know, the enemy just got hit by a raw vanish. The damage is who cares for a bar, basically. I myself use it, you know, basically as a way to keep my turn for the cost of a bar when the enemy is defending. That's the times I use vanish the most, unless a specific combo or, you know, like a tag out combo when you're trying to tag your opponents out calls for it. But for the most part, I think this mechanic is exactly where it needs to be. I'm sure a lot of you watching probably disagree with this. But if you do disagree, please, you know, tell me why in the comments below. But as I posted in the previous video, there's so many ways you can deal with it. Just because the enemy is slightly advantaged in your face doesn't mean you don't have a multitude of options to, you know, mitigate or outright crush his offensive hopes after the vanish. And once again, if it hits, the damage is ho-hum, who cares, right? So it's not a big deal. I think vanish is exactly where it needs to be, and it should remain unchanged. Now the next mechanic I just want to briefly touch on here is the guard cancel. So I did mention this here in the original wishlist video, but frankly put, guard cancel sucks. Like, oh cool, I guard canceled, and that's in a nutshell right there now, isn't it? The incoming character needs to have like some manner of invincibility or something, because most of the time when you try to guard cancel, you're just going to get tagged anyways. It's already a risky thing, as that homing dash that comes in is actually unsafe on block. So you already have to burn a bar on top of that. So the fact that it just gets clocked by, you know, a lot of various moves here is kind of disgraceful. Like, I'm not saying it needs to be a guaranteed safe forever kind of thing, but it gets clipped by just random block strings all the time, which really de-incentivizes the use of the move, which extra sucks because, you know, defensive mechanics are very rare in this game, so it de-incentivizes the use of one of the few methods a defensive player has. So it needs to be a more attractive mechanic to use, because otherwise, you know, a lot of people complain about being crushed under pressure and all that. This is supposed to be the tool that gets rid of pressure, and sometimes it works and sometimes it gets smacked, and that's just super, super frustrating. And so there you have it. So I want to kind of limit this to the mechanical end of things, not character-specific balance, because we'll be here all day long. But that said, still, nerf Gohan's stand, like, come on. Fastest normal in the game, hit slow, 2-hitting, come on, that's too crazy. But, yeah, so I just wanted to let you know some of my thought process on some of the gameplay mechanics, because they do say they will be changing some of the basic core gameplay mechanics. Once again, we don't know what they'll be exactly, but the game systems will be tweaked in some manner. So hopefully it will be for the positive way most people tend to agree with, but we'll see how it turns out. So once again, this is where I'm soliciting your comments. I do want to see what you guys think here. Please don't go too crazy and off the wall. Let's make it some reasonable things you'd like to see. But yeah, post in the comment below. We can engender some discussions. And let's see what we get. And hopefully everyone gets what we want out of the patch. We know we're going to be getting the 2 DLC characters, Vegito and Zamasu. That's Fuse. So that'll be cool. And I don't know, I feel very positive about the patch right now. I have no reason to think otherwise, at least at the moment. So I'm just looking forward to it. I'm super positive. I just want a release date. So if you're watching this perhaps at a later time, right now there is no release date for the patch, but we're dying out here. We want that patch. So anyways, that's it for this video. So thank you very much for watching. I hope this video found you well. Go out and play some Dragon Ball.